Hi. Humility and respect or reverence, they go hand in hand together. You can't be genuinely humble without having genuine respect for yourself and for others. Similarly, you can't be genuinely respectful of yourself. You can have superiority, inferiority complex or whatever, and reverential towards others without having humility. So let me tell you something. Only those who consciously affirm their obligation to respect themselves and others can understand the real meaning of humility. True humility doesn't disparage the individual, it elevates the individual. As almost all religions or philosophies teach, the real servants of the merciful Maker are those who walk humbly on earth. But you have to bear in mind that the respect that is due to oneself doesn't entitle us to exult in our own importance. They are two different things. Our importance is not a matter of a claim to be exacted or enforced. It results from understanding, from acknowledging our existence as finite beings and creatures bound by space and time. Our job is to define our role in our life and play it within the law of our being. Then you might ask, what's self-respect? Self-respect arises when a person does right because it's right, regardless of any unsavory consequences. The rest is delusionary conceit fueled by ego. Respect lies in honor distinct from fear and greed. Let me explain with the immortal message of Alfred Lord Tennyson in his dramatic monologue Inini, when Pallas offers her gifts to Paris and he refuses no matter how much Inoni wishes that he would have accepted. Self-reverence, self-knowledge, self-control, these three alone lead life to sovereign power. Yet not for power. Power of herself would come uncalled for, but to live by law. Acting the law we live by without fear, and because right is right to follow right were wisdom in the scorn of consequence. Thomas Carlyle emphasizes that respect for others and the sentiment of reverence play important roles in the development of human character. He describes reverence as honor done to others who are always greater and better than us in some respect, and honor distinct from fear is the soul of all philosophy, every ideology, every religion that has ever been among humans or ever will be. Look, a person who learns to respect others is inwardly free. Those who can't truly respect others are blinkered, egocentric, and self-important people who bow to their own passing whims and fancies. Our liberty doesn't consist in being free from all control. Instead, it consists in voluntary submission to the collective laws of life. People who don't respect those around them haven't evolved beyond the animal stage and are too involved in the mere animal will to live. They are likely to thrive on the monetary impulses of their biologic being, but don't know happiness in the real sense of that word. Sacrifice of self is the only road to fulfillment of life's potential, just as a seed sacrifices itself to become a flower. That great human being, Dr. Albert Schweitzer, whose final resting place on the banks of the 𝐥𝐤𝐤 River in Gabon I had the privilege to visit, describes it beautifully. Let me repeat his words for you. Just as the wave cannot exist for itself but is ever a part of the heaving surface of the ocean, so must I never live my life for itself but always in the experience which is going all around me. It is an uncomfortable doctrine that the true ethics whispers in my ear. You are happy, it says, therefore you are called upon to give much. Whatever more than others you have received in health, natural gifts, working capacity, success, a beautiful childhood, harmonious family circumstances, you must not accept as being a matter of course. You must pay a price for them. You must show more than average devotion to life. That's Dr. Albert Schweitzer, who actually showed much more than average devotion to life and gave a lot. In order to surpass the limitations of our being, we must first acknowledge them by recognizing and respecting others, our parents, our mentors, our friends, and the moral standards of the society and the civic laws of the society. An attitude of respect is where the urge for moral and intellectual regeneration begins. It helps us escape the obligations and curves of prejudices peculiar to most humans. Goethe, the German poet, aptly emphasizes that no education is possible unless a person starts by adopting this basic attitude to the problem of personal life. For Goethe, the attitude of reverence is a matter of paramount importance, as also explained in the word of the Bible, when the salt shall have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? So being technology savvy, the ability to write software, invent gadgets, being an entrepreneur, setting up startups, or knack of making money are all highly valuable attainments. But they are not enough to enrich our humanity or to advance our evolution. What matters is how we use them. So without discounting the comforts it brings, one problem with our increasingly impersonal, technology-driven and web-based society is that no emphasis is laid on the role that interhuman skills play in the development of personality. We are losing interpersonal skills because especially the younger folks don't privilege interacting with people rather than doing the same thing through the help of technology, even though it might take the same amount of time. While an empty politeness is inculcated, the culture of feeling respect is neglected in our schools, in our society. So the kids are taught to wear a smile like lipstick or nail polish, but at the same time the society conditions them to become more aggressive and ambitious as they advance in growth. So the self-serving approach this is hailed as productive, and respect is considered as dull in this world. This reminds me as I talk of a memorable incident from ancient Greece. The Athenian judges condemned Socrates in 399 before Christ to die by drinking a cup of hemlock. He was found guilty of corrupting the youth, of having denied God, and of having conspired against the government of the day. Even his accusers knew that Socrates was innocent of the charges leveled against him. Plato recounts in Crito how an old and reliable friend visited Socrates in prison the night before he was to die and urged Socrates to allow his friends to bribe the jailer for his escape to a safe place. Socrates refused to buy his liberty in this manner because in doing so he would have disrespected his duty to the laws of his country. Socrates said that even though he was convicted under the law by its dishonest application, in fleeing in this manner he would be setting a dangerous precedent of undermining the law's authority. Socrates believed that without an unqualified allegiance to the law, a well-ordered society can't be sustained. As Ali ibn Abi Talib once explained to an early Muslim ruler, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, there is no dishonor for the victim of injustice who suffers in innocence. The dishonor is reserved for the doer of the evil. Socrates' immortal words continue to resound through all ages. He said, "Leave me then, Crito, to fulfill the will of God and to follow whither he leads." We can all see around us what happens in countries, societies where the authority and sanctity of the country's law is flouted by its people. Rabindranath Tagore used to say that in order to make a process coextensive with life, education has to be based on the law of personal sympathy. Good teachers are those who influence their students by their being and not by merely imparting information to them. Such teachers are to students what sunshine is to plants. Tagore explains that a teacher's real function is not to explain meanings but to knock on the doors of mind. It is from their parents and teachers that young minds learn to respect their own essential selves and others around them. So we must learn not to let the mist of personal importance impede the passage of the light of knowledge and wisdom. We must try to keep ourselves immune from the corruption of a false ideology, favoritism, and intrigue. We can let our young learn to surf the web, to network and to assimilate information and acquire all the knowledge, play with gadgets, grow on technology, and go to the best institutions. Let them drill their minds and express their individuality. But then let them also attain the internal discipline needed to keep the will in them within proper confines. So even when you look at religion, any religion, the supreme expression of respect is reserved for those who practice religion not merely in the institutional organized sense, but also seek a direct experience of living in unity with the pulse of reality. So we must approach our powers and capacities and the grandeur and majesty of the world around us with equal respect. It's a false philosophy that teaches that the body must be subjected to suffering in order for the spirit to triumph. No, the spirit best triumphs when it is assisted by a healthy body. And if you respect yourself, you keep a healthy body. You make sure others around you are healthy. In order to touch the furthest limits of our being, we have to be at one with all that is within and around us, and we have to be at our best. This is life's experience par excellence. For me, spirituality, religion, growth in life as a human being has no other content, no other meaning except this total purity, outward and inward. Inward, genuine humility; outward, genuine respect. Not taking anything for granted. Respect. Thank you.